Have you heard HSK 3.0? If you want to learn or you are already learning Chinese, I would suggest you to get ready for it this year, because it will come to each of us soon. Hello everyone, this is Lan Lao Shi with more than 20 years experience of Chinese teaching. In March the 24th, 2021, the Ministry of Education of the Chinese Republic of China released the Chinese Proficiency Grading Standards for International Chinese Language Education, which came into effect on July the 1st, 2021. It was said by the Ministry of Education that in 3 to 5 years, the HSK 3.0 would take the current HSK test. Well, 4 years has passed. All the textbooks have been revised, ready to be officially launched in 2025. The changes are huge. The biggest changes are in Chinese characters and vocabulary. Let's compare the current HSK vocabulary with HSK 3.0. You can see that the vocabulary of HSK levels 1 to 4 is very small, and it starts to increase rapidly in level 5. So if you are a learner with a relatively high level of Chinese, you will know that compared with levels 1 to 4, levels 5 and 6 are particularly difficult to learn. In HSK 3.0, there are 500 words in level 1, which is close to the total of 600 words in current level 3. But the advantage is that the number of words added in each level is very small. If we make a data chart, we can clearly see the changes between the two. The growth of the number of words in each level of HSK 3.0 is very balanced. Although levels 1 and 2 are much more difficult, levels 5 and 6 are much less difficult, which is more conducive to learners' continuous progress. Not only the quantity has changed, but according to the statistics of researchers, only in the 2,245 words of levels 1 to 3, 1,034 words in the current vocabulary have been replaced, nearly half. A large number of common phrases and polyphonic words have been added. It is easier to learn. Another important reason for replacing these words is to determine the vocabulary based on Chinese characters, which I would like to call Hanzi. This is a major change in the method of teaching vocabulary. Each level has 300 Hanzi, and the vocabulary of each level is composed of the Hanzi in this level and the lower levels. This change highlights the vocabulary features with Hanzi as the core. In the past, we learned Chinese vocabulary as a whole, no matter how they are composed. But according to the Chinese students' way, combining 2 or more Hanzi to make many compound words is the basic ability of learning vocabulary. They infer the meaning of words based on the meaning of characters, and then determine their usage conditions and rules based on specific usage scenario. This is exactly the most effective learning method for native Chinese speakers. Based on the 500 words of level 1, according to different life scenarios, we designed and produced these special teaching courses with 23 lessons for you. Before you start, please watch this video carefully. I will reveal the secret method of Chinese people to learn vocabulary for you and help you improve your learning efficiency and effectiveness. The core of this course is based on the evolution of the traditional Chinese monosyllable words to the current disyllabic compound words. In ancient China, starting from the early oracle bone script, it was a kind of pictographic writing. Each character represented a word. After gradually evolving into an abstract writing symbol, it became a square Hanzi, with Hanzi as a word. Each Hanzi was a word combined with different tones and had a separate meaning. People who are familiar with Chinese will know that many Hanzi are composed of two parts. One part is related to pronunciation, and the other part is related to meaning. This is a good way for Asian Chinese to solve the problem of too many similar Hanzi. When society became more complex, more meanings needed to be expressed, and the previous methods had reached their limits. The Chinese came up with another method, using two Hanzi together, one to represent a class, and the other to represent the characteristics of the subordinate things of the class. That is, the form of adjective plus noun or noun plus noun, which accounts for the majority of nouns in Chinese. The second noun is a large class, but there can be more subordinate classes, so it is defined by the previous noun or adjective. When two Hanzi are combined, it is easy to determine the meaning of the new noun. The verb part is more complicated because there is more information related to the action. The part closest to the verb was often easy to gradually stick together with the verb to form a new verb. This combination structure is the same as the structure of phrases in Chinese. The more common form is verb plus verb, but this form contains two different constructions. The first type is that the verb behind is a large category of action, which can include many detailed classifications. The verb in front indicates the way of action, thus determining the specific action and scope of the whole word. For example, 使用、采用、借用、聘用、占用。Any Chinese people can infer the meaning of the word from the meaning of Hanzi, and knows when to use them in speech. For example, 借用 is borrow somebody's thing to use. When your phone is out of battery, but you need to contact someone, you can borrow someone else's phone. 我可以借用一下你的手机吗？占用 is to occupy another's goods, time, land, or property. 不好意思，我可以占用一点你的时间，问你几个问题吗？ Excuse me, can I take a moment of your time to ask you a few questions? The second type is that one of the Hanzi has lost its meaning in the word, and the focus of the meaning is on one of them, not both. For example, the meaning of 学习 is on 学 learn, rather than 习 practice. And the meaning of 生活 is on 活 to live, rather than 生 to be born. Then verb plus noun structure. For example, 帮忙 means to help others with what they are busy doing. You can say 快来帮忙. And you can also say 你帮了我一个大忙. You helped me with the big deal. Just like two different words. And verb plus complement structure. For example, 看见 literally means to look and see, but 见 here just means the act of 看 has been achieved, acting like a complement. 我要去看一个朋友. I'm going to see a friend. 我在书店看见一个朋友. I saw a friend in the bookstore. These words in English are called compound words. I'm sure there are many in your own language. But in Chinese, the compound word takes more than 70% of all Chinese words. Of course, some of the words cannot be illustrated by Hanzi, especially those adverbs, preposition, conjunctions, and some of the adjectives. These words were formed early in history, and their meaning as a whole has undergone a process of changing during thousands of years. But for nouns and verbs, which is the most part of Chinese vocabulary, this is a really efficient way. In fact, nearly 100% of the Chinese new words in recent 50 years follow this rule. In the past, we only show the Chinese words as a whole in the textbook and teach them as a whole in class, because there are so many words with different structures and different meanings that quite a few experts did research on this method. And also, the current word list doesn't support this method. That's why in the national standard, the vocabulary list of each level has been changed nearly half of the current list. In my last 3 years of research on the vocabulary list of this national standard, I sensed that the experts had found the right way. I'm so happy to see that. I'm so eager to make this series of videos to share with all of you. The secret of building your vocabulary fast and efficiently in a native speaker's way. Each video contains 3 to 4 groups of 15 to 30 words used in a certain scene of our daily life. The most commonly used phrases and sentences are given. Each group starts from a simple mind map and ends with a precise mind map to help you keep them in mind. I also made a PDF of more exercises for you, but unfortunately, I don't have my own website and I don't know how to upload. Hope someone can help. Thanks a lot. Okay, that's all I want to say to you at the beginning of the lesson. Let's get started.